Everyone, in this video I'm going to solve Cambridge IGCSE Mathematics Paper 3 Calculator Core in a session October-November 2025 Paper 3-1. So let's start with the first question. Question number 1, Part A. Measure the length of the line AB in centimeters. Okay, so we have the line AB. We need to measure its length in terms of centimeter. For this we need a ruler. Okay, let me close it a bit and measure its length. Okay, now you need to place the ruler 0 on A and then measure the length of this line AB. So according to me, the length of this line is 3.5 centimeters, right? Okay, but in the marking scheme, the answer is 4.7 centimeter. It might be because I zoom in or zoom out the paper, but this is how you have to measure the length of the line in terms of centimeters. Just use a ruler and measure the length of the line, right? So the main thing is I want you to understand how to measure the length of this line. Okay, so the length of this line is 3.5 centimeters. Right, now for part B, draw the line that is perpendicular to the line AB. Okay, again we need a ruler. Okay, place it over here. Since the length of the line AB is 3.5 centimeters, you guys can see, right? So what would be the midpoint for this line? Half of 3.5 would be 1.75. If I can do 3.5 divided by 2 on calculator, its half is 1.75. So we need to figure out, for whenever you need to find the perpendicular of some line, then you have to find out the midpoint of that line first. Okay, so this is 1, this is 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, and 1.75 is this point. Okay, now let me close this and let me drag my compass, sorry, the protector here. All right. Okay. Now you have to place your protector. Let me move it upside down and place it on the point, the midpoint. Yeah, this would be the midpoint, right? Okay, now we have to place it over here and find out its perpendicular where we have 90. So you guys can see 90 is over here, right? So we have 90 over here. This point is 90. All right, now we need to close this one as well, and we need to draw a straight line starting from this point and matches this point. So this would be the perpendicular of line AB, or you can raise it a little bit because the statement written over here. So this is the, we can say this would be the perpendicular of the line AB. This is how you need to figure out. So for the in order to measure the length of the line in terms of centimeter, just use a scale, a ruler or a scale, and measure its length. And in order to find the perpendicular of some line, then you have to figure out what is a midpoint of that line and place your protector on the midpoint and figure out its 90, where the angle is 90. That would be your perpendicular of the line. Now for question number 2, complete this shopping bill. 3.4 kilograms of flour at 4.60 per kilogram means 1 kilogram cost is given. We need to figure out the cost of 3.4 kilograms. Okay, so let me solve for the flour first. So for the flour, 1 kilogram, the price is 4.60 dollars. And what about 3.4 kilograms? For 3.4 kilograms, the cost would be 4.60 multiply 3.4. Okay, let me use a calculator and simplify. Sorry. So this is 3.4 multiplied by 4.60. So the answer in terms of decimal is 15.64. So this is 15.64. dollars. Okay. Now for second, 2.75 kilograms of sugar at how much dollar per kilogram is 9.90. So 9.90 is basically the cost of 2.70 kilograms of sugar. We need to figure out the cost of 1 kilogram of sugar. So let me do for sugar here. So how do we figure out 1 kilogram per kilogram? It means we have to divide it, right? So this means we have to do 9.90 divides 2.75. So this would be the cost of 2.75. What would be the cost of 1 kilogram of sugar, right? Again, use the calculator and simplify. So 9.90 divide 2.75, that is 3.6. So 3.6 is the cost of per kilogram of sugar. Right, now we need to figure out the total. We need to add both of them and figure out the total of it, right? Okay, again need a calculator and figure out the total is 15.64, and we need to add 9.90. The total is 25.54. 25.54. This would be the total. Now moving to question number 3. Total cost of the journey. The formula we have given that the total cost of the journey is equals to the number of liters of fuel used multiply the cost of the fuel per liters. A journey used 128 liters of fuel. So number of liters of fuel used is this much. The cost of the fuel is this much per liter. So the cost of per liter fuel is this much. Calculate the total cost of this journey. So the total cost of this journey, substitute into the formula. So here we can say the total cost of that journey is number of liters of fuel used. How much liters of fuel used? 128 liters of fuel used, multiply by the cost of fuel per liter. Per liter the cost is $1.52. Just do the product and you will get the answer. Okay, let me use a calculator. 128 multiply 1.5452. This is 194.56. 194.56. This is the cost. Question number 4, we have given some fractions. Draw a ring around the fraction which is not equivalent to 2 by 5. The fraction which is not equivalent to 2 by 5. Okay, so just use calculator and figure out which one is equivalent to 2 by 5. Okay, so 6 divide 15. This fraction is 2 by 5. This is equivalent to 2 by 5 when you simplify. 1 by 10 is not equivalent to 2 by 5. Yes, obviously. Okay, then the next is 1 by 10. This is not equivalent. Sorry, 1 by 10. 1 by 10. This is not equivalent. What is 16 over 80? This is 1 by 5. Around ring around the fractions means there are more than one fraction. So this is not equivalent. This is not equivalent. Okay, let me check others. This is 1 by 5. This is 1 by 10. And let me erase this one because this one is already equivalent, right? Okay, the next one is, the next fraction is 10 over 25. It's 2 by 5. And this is already, this is 5 by 2, not 2 by 5. Yes, this is not equivalent. This is 2 by 5. Yeah, so 6 over 15 is 2 by 5. 10 over 25 is 2 by 5. The rest of the three fractions are not equivalent to 2 by 5. So these we need to put the ring around the fractions which are not equivalent to 2 by 5. So these are three fractions which are not equivalent to 2 by 5. Question number 5, find the value of part A, number 1, the square root. It's a 1 mark question. Just use a calculator and figure out its square root. Okay, so here we can say the square root of 1.96. The square root 1.4. 1.4 is the square root, right? Now for second part of a is 17 cube. Okay, so the 17 to the power 3, this would be 4916. 4913. Not 16, it's 13. Yes, 13. Now for the third part, we need to again use a calculator and simplify. This is negative 0 0.8 multiply with negative 1.2. This is 0 0.96. Now for part B, write these numbers in order starting with the smallest. Which one is the smallest one? Okay, so it's a 2 mark question because calculator is allowed. So let me figure out the decimal representation of all these numbers one by one. Okay, so first, the decimal representation for 11 divides 19. Its decimal representation is 5.0.5. Okay, 0.57. As you can see, this is in decimal and these are in three decimal places. So it is better to write down the four decimal place, everything. 0.5789. Okay, 0.5789. Okay, the next one is 58%. It means we can do 58 divided by 100. So that is 0.58. 27 over 47. So 27 divides 47. That is 0.5744. And then 6. So it's, we need to round it. 0.5745. 0.5745, and this is already in terms of decimal, right? Okay, so which one is the smallest? 0.57, 0.5, 0.58 is a bigger one, 0.57. So these three are the 0.57, right? So which one? 0.5789, 0.5780, 0.574. So this one is a, sorry, this we are reading with these five threes, sorry, 0.578, 0.574, 0.574. When there is nothing, so it's 0. So this one is the smallest one. You can say 0.574. And then from these two we have 7, 4, 5 and 8, 9. So this one is the smallest, which is 27 divides 47. And then this one 0.789, which is 11 over 19, and the largest one is 58%. So you need to figure out all the things in terms of decimal, the decimal representation of all the fractions and the percentages, and then easily figure out which one is smallest and which one is largest. Question number 6, find part A, the mod. Mod is the most repeated frequency or the most repeated value, right? So most repeated value. So which one is the most repeated one? Okay, so the most 17, 4, 25, 18, 14, 6, 3, 18, 12. So 18 repeats twice. So the mod is 18. Part B, the range. Range is a difference between the lower and the higher. Sorry. So the higher value subtract the lower value. Okay, so which one is the higher? 17, 4, 25, 18, 14, 6, 3, 18, and 12. So I guess 3 is the lowest one. 3 is the lowest one, and the highest one is 25. Right. So here we can say 25 take away 3, that is equals to 22. So the range for this data is 22. Question number 7. A bag contains 6 red balls, 4 green balls, and 2 blue balls. Okay, Zia takes a ball from the bag at random. The diagram shows a probability scale, okay, from 0 to 1. Which arrow shows the probability that, okay, so first let me figure out all the balls, right? Red are 6, green are 4, and the blue are 2. 6, 4, 2. And what is the total of all balls? So the total is 6 plus 4 is 10, and 10 plus 2 is 12 are the total balls. Okay. So, okay. A part A, Zia takes a green ball. How many balls are green? 4 are green out of 12. So the probability is 4 out of 12. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. So 1 out of 3. So we need to show which arrow shows the probability 1 out of 3. So 1, 1, 2, 3. This shows 1 out of 3, the probability. Number C. Okay. Now for part B, Zia takes a yellow ball. How many balls are yellow? So there is no yellow ball. So the probability is 0. 0 are yellow out of 12 balls. So the probability is 0. So the 0 is over here. So this one is A. Okay. Now for part C, Zia takes does not takes a blue ball. Does not takes a blue ball. So first we need to find the probability for the blue. What is the probability of blue? How many are blues? 2 are blues out of 12. Okay. 2 balls are blue out of 12 balls. It means 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 6 is 12, right? Now we need to figure out the probability of not blue. Probability of not blue means 1 minus probability of blue. So this is 1 minus 1 out of 6. So 6 times 1 is 6, and 6 minus 1 is 5 by 6. Okay, so where we have 5 by 6, let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 6. Yeah. Okay, so if you are confused where 1 over 3 and 5 by 6 lies, so it is better to use a calculator and figure out that you guys can see this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 1 is divided into 6 part, right? So 1 this whole is 1, it is divided into 6 parts, right? So 1 over 5 means 1, 2, sorry, 5 out of 6. 1 part, 2 part, 3 part, 4 part, 5 parts. This is 5 by 6, right? And what is 1 by 3? So if I can say, right, so let me explain you one more time. So you guys can see this whole 1 is divided into how many sections? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So in 6 sections, so 5 out of 6 is this. 1 out of 3 we can make it in the denominator 6, right? So multiplying by 2, multiplying by 2, which is 2 over um, 6, right? So one section and two section, this is also equivalent to 2 over 6, right? So 2 by 6 lies on C, and 5 by 6 lies on F, right? So it is better to divide, make the denominator that how many section this line is divided into. So this line is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 equal sections. So this is 5 by 6, this is 4 by 6, this is 3 by 6, 2 by 6, 1 by 6, and 0 by 6, and this is 6 by 6. Okay. All right. Now for question number 8, we need to solve part A. Okay, 8. We need to solve for x. 8x equals to 32, right? So what x is equals to? X is equals to 32 divides 8, and we know that 8 times 1 is 8, and 8 times 4 is 32. So the simplified answer is 4. Now for part B, 6x minus 3 would be equals to 12. So 6x is equals to 12. Shift the 3 on the other side, plus 3. So here 6x is equals to 12 plus 3 is 15, and x would be equals to 15 over 6. 15 over 6 is also okay, but we can convert it into decimal representation. We can show this. So what is 15 divided by 6? This in terms of decimal it is 2.5, right? So that is also equivalent to 2.5. Now for part C, represent the inequality on the number line. So this is the inequality that it starts from -4 and ends at 2. So we have -4 over here and 2 over here, right? But the -4, it's equal, less than equal, and at 2 it is just less, right? So in 2 we have a circle, and at -4 it is a filled circle, right? Okay, so at 4 it is a filled circle. Okay, and you have to move towards the point 2, and you have just a circle, and this is a filled one. Okay, so because -4 is included and 2 is not included, this is how we represent the inequality on the number line. Question number 9, part A, write down the mathematical name for this type of angle. So this angle is the reflex angle. So reflex angle is basically the angle which is greater than 180 but less than 360. That is the reflex angle. When the angle which is more than 180 and less than 360, that angle is reflex angle. And 180 is basically the straight line, right? When the angle is more than the straight line and less than the whole circle 360, that angle is a reflex angle, right? Now for part B, triangle ABC. ABC is a triangle A, B, and C. Lily says X is 34 degree. Okay, X is 34 degree. Give a geometrical reason why Lily is not correct. Okay, so to figure out this X, you need to add all the three angles and put it equals to 180 degree, because sum of all angles of a triangle add up to 180. So we can say the angle X, angle 54, and angle 102, their sum should be equals to 180 degree. Okay, so what is angle X? Angle X would be equals to, from 180 you need to take away the sum of 54 and 102. Okay, let me calculate this. So here we can say from 180 degree, 180, subtract bracket sum of 54 and 102 bracket, that is 24. So here the X is equals to 24 degrees, but she said X is 34 degrees. Why she is incorrect? Okay, we need to give a geometrical reason why she is incorrect. We can say she is not correct because sum of all angles in a triangle adds up to 180 degree. So when you can add all the three angles, your sum should be 180, but when you add 34, 54, and 102, this is not equals to 180 degree, right? Okay, now for part C, we have ABCD is a quadrilateral. A, B, C, and D, this is a quadrilateral. D, C, E is a straight line. D, C, and E, this is a straight line. Calculate the value of X. The X is over here. All right, so this is pretty simple, since we have given that it is a quadrilateral. So quadrilateral, sum of all four angles of a quadrilateral add up to 360. So we need to figure out this angle first. Their sum should be 360 degree, right? So let me do this one first, right? So the sum of all four angles, we can say the angle A is 48, angle B 75, we need to figure out angle C, and angle D is 126. Their sum should be equals to 360 degree. So angle C is equals to, from 360 degree we need to subtract the sum of these three. Okay, so what is the sum of all these three? 48, 55, 75, and 126. What is the sum of 48, 75, 126? Which is 249. 249 from 130 we need to subtract our answer. So here we can say, sorry, 360. 360, subtract the answer, which is 1111. So C would be equals to 111. So this angle C we got is 111. Now, in order to get this x, we know that the sum of angles on a straight line add up to 180, right? So we can say the angle x and angle triple one, their sum should be equals to 180 degree, right? So here we can say the angle x and the angle 111, their sum should be equals to 180 degree. So what is angle x? Angle x is from 180, you need to take away 111. Okay, let me simplify. 180 subtract 111, this is 69, so that angle is 69. Okay, x is equals to 69. We need to calculate the value for x, so the x is 69 degrees. Question number 10. Anna and Bruno share some money in the ratio. Anna and Bruno ratio is 3:7. Okay. Bruno receives 36 more than Anna. Okay. Calculate the total amount of money they share. Right. So if Anna receives X, then Bruno receives X plus 36, because Bruno receives 36 more than Anna. Anna is X, then Bruno is X. X plus, because more, so plus 36, right? So now we can make a ratio for this. This would be equals to 3:7. So we can convert the ratio into fractions, right? So x over x plus 36. This would be equals to 3/7. Cross multiply, 7 times x is 7x, and then 3 times x plus 36. So here we have 7x, 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 36. So 3 times 36, 108. So 7x minus 3x, shift the 3x on the other side, this would be 108. From 7 take away 3 is 4x equals to 108. And what x is equals to? X is equals to 108 divided by 4. Okay, so 108 divided by 4, this would be 27, right? So this is equals to 27. Okay, so Anna is x and Bruno receives x plus 36, right? So what is the value of x? We got the x is 27, and this is 27 plus 36. Okay, in 27 we need to add 36, that's a 63, so he receives 63. We need to figure out the total amount of money, so they share. So the total would be, we can do the sum of 63 plus 27, and 7 8 9 10 6 7 8 9, so it's 90 dollars they both share. Question number 11. Naz pays $76.25 per day to hire a car. So this much per day. He hires this car for 7 days. He also pays $146 for the fuel. Calculate the total amount Naz pays. Okay. So the total amount he pays is the amount of fuel, $146, plus for 7 days the cost of per day to hire a car is 76.25, right? So Nas pays this much per day to hire a car. He hires this car for 7 days. One day he pays this much. For 7 days he will pay 7 times of this much, plus he also pays $146 for the fuel. So the total we need to figure out. Okay, Right, use a calculator. We can say 146 plus the product of 7 and 76.25. That would be 679.75. 679.75. So this much he pays in the total, 679.75. Now for part B, okay, this is for A. The B is totally different from it. Okay, Lee pays this much to hires a car. $364 for this is insurance. Calculate the insurance as a percentage of 1,400. Calculate the insurance. Insurance is $364 as a percentage of 1,400. 1,400, and for percentage we have to multiply by 100, right? So let me use the calculator. Okay, so this is 364 divides 1,400, and we need to multiply it by 100. 26%. All right. Question number 12. 300 students choose where to go on the trip. On a trip, the student choose either a zoo, a museum, or an art gallery, or a sports stadium. Okay. So the zoo, the museum is done, the art gallery, and the stadium. Okay. Part A, show that 75 student choose the museum. We need to show that. Okay, so museum, the angle is 90-degree for the museum, and the total number of students are 300, right? So for the museum, the angle is 90-degree. Out of the total angle 360-degree, multiply by the total number of students, which are 300, right? So 90 out of 360 multiply by 300, right? Okay, now let me simplify this by using a calculator. We can say 90 divides 360 and multiply by 300. 75. It is proved, yes. So there are 75 students choose the museum. Now for part B, 45 students choose the art gallery and 120 students choose the stadium. Complete the pie chart to show this information. So 45 students choose the art gallery and 120 students choose the sports museum. So we need to basically figure out their pie chart sector angle, right? So when we need to figure out this angle, 360, the total, and this one is already given to us. So how do we do this, right? So let me show you guys that we did the same. So we need to find out the pie chart sector angle. Let's say that angle is theta. Out of the total angle 360-degree, multiply by the total students are 300, and this would be equals to, for art gallery I'm doing 45. So we need to figure out for theta. So how do we do for theta? So 45 is multiplying, this is 300 over 360, so we can cross multiply, it is 360, and this is divide over here, which is 300. Okay, now you can easily figure out what is that angle. Okay, so we can say 45 multiply by 360 divides 300. 54 point 54.6 degrees. Okay, sorry, I did the mistake. This is 45 multiply, I did 364. Okay, this is 360 divides 300. I was also wondering why I get the decimal answer. This is 54 degrees. 54 degrees is the angle for the art gallery, right? Now for the second one, again theta we need to figure out. 360 degree is the whole angle. Multiply by the total number of students equals to 120 students choose the sports. So theta is equals to 120 multiply by 360 divides 300. Okay, let me solve for theta. So 360 over 300. So here we can say we can do 120 times this one, 144. This angle theta is 144. Right. Let me double check. Yeah, it's 144, right? Okay, now we use a protector to measure the angle 54 degrees and 144 degrees. So we need to figure out these two angles, 54 degrees and 144 degrees. For this, let me use the protector. Okay. All right, so 54. Place the protector over here, rotate it, and measure the length 54. Where is 54? Or you can measure 144. This is up to you. So if you start from 10, we have 140 over here and 144. 144 is this length. This point is 144, yes. And then the rest would be 54, right? Okay. Let me close this and let me join this point with this one, and that is 144 degrees, and the other one is 54 degrees, right? So 144 is for the, okay, so this is how the pie chart look like. So we have completed the pie chart to show this information that zoo, the museum is done. 144 is for the sports stadium. So here we can say this is for the sports stadium. All right, so sports stadium, sorry, this is the sports stadium, and the angle 54 degrees is for the art gallery. Right. Question number 13, part A. The surface area of a solid cube is given to us. The surface area of a solid cube is 121.5 centimeter square. Calculate the length of the side of the cube. Alright, so the formula for the surface area of a cube, surface area of cube, that is equals to 6 times side square, right? So that is 121.5 equals to 6 times side square. We need to figure out the length of the side of the cube. So 121.5 divided by 6, this is side square. And in order to solve for the side, so we have to take a square root on both sides, right? And when we do the square root, the square and the square root is cancelled out, and we can easily get the, this would be the length of each side of the cube. When we do the square root, the answer is plus minus, but we are just dealing with taking it plus because the length is a dimension, it never be negative, right? Use a calculator and simplify. What is square root of 121.5 divides 6? That is 4.5. So this is 4.5 is the length of the side of the cube. Question, now for part B of number 13, the area of the trapezium is given, which is 106.25 centimeter square. Calculate the height of the trapezium, right? So area of a trapezium has a formula that area of a trapezium is equals to half product B1 plus B2 multiply by the height. What is B1 and B2? This is your B1 and this is your B2. B1 and B2 are basically the sum of parallel sides. Half into the product of sum of parallel sides multiplied this height. Right? So now let me use this formula and figure out what is the height for this trapezium. Okay, so area is 106.25, and that is equals to 1 by 2. The sum of the parallel side, one parallel side is 15 and the other parallel side is, let me move up, it's 10, and the product with the height. Okay, so this is 106.25, and here we can say 10 plus 15 is 25, so this is 25 divided by 2 multiply by the height. Okay, we need to solve for the height. So the height would be multiply by 2 and divide by 25. 2 over 25 times 106.25. That would be the height of this trapezium. Let me calculate this. 2 divides 25 and multiply by 106.25. That is 8.5. So this height is 8.5 centimeter for that trapezium. Now for the second part, convert 106.25 centimeter square into meter square, right? All right, so here we use a conversion that 1 meter is equals to 100 centimeters. Okay, now we have to take a square on both sides. Okay, so 1 meter square is equals to 100 square is 10,000 centimeter square, right? So we have to convert this much centimeter square into meters, right? So here we can say 1 centimeter square would be 1 over 10,000 meter square. Okay, now we can easily figure this out, that 1 centimeter square would be this much meter square. So we need to figure out what is 106.25 centimeter square. That is 106.25 divides 10,000 meter square. Okay, so now let me figure this out. What is 106.25 divides 10,000? 0.010625. 0.010625. 10, sorry. 0625. Okay. Question number 14. A bag contained red, yellow, blue, and green cards. The table shows the probability of taking red card and a yellow card. Okay, red and yellow probability is given. The probability of taking a blue card or a green card is in the ratio blue ratio green is 2:7, 2:5. Sorry, 5:2. Complete the table. Okay, so we know that sum of all probability should be equals to 1, right? So the probability for red 0.53, the probability for blue yellow is 0.19. Let's say the probability of blue is x and the probability of green is y. So the sum of x plus y, everything should be equals to 1, because we know that sum of probability is always equals to 1, right? Okay, so now let me figure out what is the sum of these two with the help of calculator. Now let me simplify. We have 0.53 plus 0.19, and that is equals to 0.72. This is 0.72 plus x plus y. This is equals to 1. Okay, what is x plus y? X plus y is equals to 1 minus 0.72. Okay, now what is 1 minus answer, which is 0.28. So the sum of x plus y is 0.28. Okay, now here you guys can see that the blue we suppose x and the green we suppose is y. and when we add them up, this is 5 plus 2, that is equals to 7, right? So the blue is x, the green is y. When we add them up, the ratio is 5 and 2. We add them up, you will get 7. So x plus y is basically 7. So it means 7 is equals to 0.28. So we need to solve what 1 equals to. 1 equals to 0.28 divided by 7. Okay, 0.28 divides 7 is 0.04. So means 1 equals to 0.04. Now we need to figure out what 5 equals to and what 2 equals to. Okay. So here we can say 5 would be equals to 5 times 0.04, and 2 is equals to 2 times 0.04. Okay. Okay, 0.04 multiplied with 5, that is 0.2, and this is equals to 0.2. And what is 0.04 multiplied by 2? 0.04 multiplying by 2 is 0.08, that is 0.08. Okay, so 2 is a probability for the blue, so here we can raise this x and y. So here we can say 5, the blue is 5, sorry, blue 5, so the blue is 0.2, and the green is in the ratio of 2, which is 0.08. So this is how you have to complete the table. I hope this makes sense now. Question number 15, shapes A and B are shown on the grid. Okay, so here we have shape A and shape B. Part A, describe fully the single transformation that maps shape A onto shape B. A onto B. Obviously, you guys can see this is an enlargement, right? We need to figure out the center of enlargement and the scale factor. So first thing first, we need to write down the transformation. The transformation is enlargement. This is an enlargement. We need to find the center of enlargement and the scale factor of enlargement. Okay, so let me figure out the scale factor first. Okay, so the formula for the scale factor is the new shape divides the original one. Okay, now here you guys can see the new one is B, and shape A onto B. Yes, A is the original one and B is the new one, right? Okay, so the new one is 1 unit and half unit, so it is 1.5. This is 1.5 and the original one is 1, 2, 3. This is 3 units. So 1.5 divided by 3, let me simplify. What is 1.5 divides 3? That is 0.5. So the scale factor is 0.5. Okay, now in order to figure out the center of enlargement, we need to connect the corresponding coordinates. These two are corresponding, these two, and these two corresponding vertices basically. And the point where they meet is their point of intersection, right? So let me do this. All right, so let me connect these two corresponding coordinates. You have to do it with the scale, and you can easily figure out the where these intersect. You will get the point of the center of enlargement. So they all meet at the origin 0, 0. It means the center of enlargement is the origin, which is 0, 0. All right, now for part B on the grid, draw the image of shape A after translation by a vector to 6 and 7. 6 is the horizontal translation and 7 is your vertical translation, right? 6 units, so it means we have to do 6 units right because it is positive. Horizontal is right or left, right? So it is positive 6 towards right, and vertical translation is up or down, so it's positive, so 7 units up. All right. So 6 units right and 7 units up. So if I can raise these lines, I guess they are making, I drew this to make you understand it. Okay, now starting from this point, you have to move 6 units to the right side and 7 units up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this point is 2, 2. Now for this vertex, we have to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is 4, 2. For this vertex, we have to move 6 right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this one is 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 2 and 5. Okay, now let me connect all of them to get the shape. Okay, so this is a shape of the translation. Okay. Question number 16. Bob travels from town A to town B. The travel graph shows his journey. Okay. So distance from town A in kilometer is the vertical axis, and the distance and the time is on the horizontal axis. Okay. He travels from town A to town B. Okay. So here the town A and then the town B. All right. Now for part A, between which two times did Bob stop for a rest? Explain how you know. Okay, these two times. Okay, between which two times he stops for a rest? Okay, he stops for a rest between these two times. You guys can see, if you can see the curve, he travels, he stops here, and then again he travels up. Okay, so between these two times he stops. So what is that time? This time and this time. So between these two times he stops. What are these two times? It's 9, sorry, 8, 8:30 and 9, 9:30, 10. So the two blocks is basically 10:30, and this would be 11:30. So if this is 11:30, then what is this number? This is 11:15. So because every block is 15 minutes, 8, 8:15, 8:30, 8:45, 9, right? So 10, 10:15, 10:30, 10:45, 11, 11, 11:15, 11:30, 11:45, 12, right? I hope you are getting my point now. So we have to raise this one. So this time he rest. Okay, sorry, he rest between this time and this time, not this one. So this time is 10:30 and this is 11:15. Okay, so we need to between which two times did Bob stops for rest? Between 10:30 and 11:15 he rest, and explain how you know. How do we know that they rest? Because as you can see, the line is horizontal, the distance remains the same, there is no distance traveled, right? Line is horizontal and distance remain the same because line is horizontal, or we can say distance remains same, or no, not distance remains same, we can say no distance traveled, or no distance traveled, no distance travel. Okay, you can see this is your distance, right? So here the distance is the same, this distance, it stays the same, no, there is no distance traveled here, right? So these are the two reasons, any reason you can give over here. Now for part B, explain Bob's average speed in kilometer per hour for the whole journey. His average speed we need to figure out. So we know that the speed is basically distance over time. So average speed is total distance traveled divided by the total time taken, right? So how much distance is traveled? In this distance is in already in kilometers, right? So the distance starts from 0 and ends at what point? And the distance ends at this point. Okay, what is this point? 5, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Okay, how much each block is telling us? From 0 to 100, this is 1 block, 2 block, 3 block, and 4 block. Means 100 is divided into 4 blocks. Okay, let me use a calculator. So this means 100 is divided into 4 block, means each block is representing 25. 25, then we have 50, and then we have 75, and then 100, right? Okay, so in order to figure out this, so this would be 625. So the distance traveled is from 0 to 625. So we can say the distance traveled D is 625 kilometer. And we need to figure out the time in terms of hours. So how much time it takes, right? So it takes this time going down. Okay. Right, along this line it takes this time. Okay, so the time starts from 8 till 14:15, because each is 15 minutes, 15, 30, 45, and then the whole hour. Okay, so from 8 till 14:15, how much is the time? Okay, so here we can say from 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 13, 13 to 14. So this is 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hours, 6 hours. So it will take 6 hour and 15 minutes. Okay, so the time, we can deal with the time separately over here. So the time is 6 hours and 15 minutes. How can we write this in hours? Okay, use a calculator. Okay, so 6 hours, this is the hour button, right? And 15 minutes. In terms of decimals, 6.25 hours. 6.25 hours. So this time is 6.25 hours. So 625 over 6.25. 625 divides 6.25, that is the speed, which is 100 kilometer per hour. 100 kilometer per hour is the average speed of the Bob's whole journey. Question number 17, factorize 21 and 7. 7 is common. 7 times 3 is 21x, and 7 times 1 is 7 with x and y. Now x and 1x, y, x is common in both. So 3x is already common minus y. This is the complete factorized form. 7x is outside and 3 minus y. Question number 18, part A. The nth term of a sequence is this. Find the first 3 terms of this sequence. The first 3 terms we need to figure out for this sequence. Okay, so for the first term, n is 1, so we can say 1 square minus 4. For second term, n is 2, 2 square minus 4. For the third term, n should be 3, so 3 square and minus 4. 1 square is 1 minus 4, that is equals to negative 3. This is my first term. 2 square is 4 minus 4, that is equals to 0, my second term. And 3 square is 9, 9 minus 4, that is equals to 5. This is my third term of the sequence. Now for part B, here we can say these are the first 4 terms of a different sequence. Find the nth term. Okay, so find out the difference between the term. From 5, when you subtract 3, you will get 2. From 2, take away 3, you will get negative 1. From negative 1, take away 3 is negative 4. So minus 3 each time. So when we have a common difference, we have an arithmetic progression, right? So arithmetic progression, nth term is an is equals to a plus n minus 1 into d. So the nth term a is the first term of the sequence, which is 5, plus we have n minus 1, d is the common difference, which is negative 3. Okay, so now the nth term an is 5 minus 3 times n, minus times minus is plus 3. So the nth term is in 5, when you add 3 is 8 minus 3n. This is the nth term for that sequence, 8 minus 3n. Question number 19. Joe invests $500 at a rate of 2% per year compound interest. Okay. Calculate the amount of interest earned at the end of 7 years. Okay. Amount of interest earned for the compound interest. Okay. So the amount of interest earned is I equals to A minus P. Okay. I is the amount of interest earned, and sorry, I is basically the interest earned, a is the amount, and it has a formula p into 1 plus r to the power t minus p. P is the investment, so I would be equals to p. This was investment 500. 1 plus r is the interest rate, which is 2%, 2 over 100, and the amount of years are 7, and subtract the investment, which is 500. So here you will get the amount of interest. So we can use a calculator here. Here we can say 500 multiply the bracket 1 plus 2 divides 100. Okay, wait a second. The bracket is closed and its power is 7. Okay, so this is 574.34. 574.34, take away 500. Okay, so this thing subtract 500, you will get 74.34. So I is 74.34. So this is the amount of interest earned at the end of 7 years, $74.34. Question number 20, part A. Work out the size of one interior angle of a regular 8-sided polygon. Okay, it is an 8-sided polygon, right? Okay, so the measure of each interior angle of a regular polygon is number of sides minus 2 multiplied by 180 divided by the number of sides. Since the number of sides are 8, 8 minus 2 times by 180 divided by 8. From 8 take away 2 is 6 times 180 divided by 8. Okay, now let me calculate this. 6 times 180 is 1080 divided by 8. This is 135. So this angle is 135 degrees. Now for part B, ABC lies on the circumference of a circle centered at O. A, B, and C. These 3 points lies on the circumference of a circle, and the center of the circle is O. Okay, AB is a diameter of a circle. Okay, this is the diameter of a circle. Highlight the information which is given to us, and B, B, DBE is tangent to the circle at point B. D, B, and E. Okay. D, B, E. This line is tangent to the circle at point B. Okay. Find the value of x. Give a geometrical reason for your answer. Okay, we need to solve for this x. What is that x? What that x is? Okay, now you guys can see here we use the concept of the triangle, which is inside the circle, right? So now you can see this is a triangle ABC. This triangle is inside the circle, right? So the triangle over the diameter of a circle is always a right angle triangle, right? Triangle over the diameter is always A right angle triangle. So any triangle which is over the diameter is a right angle triangle. And which angle is a right angle? Which is opposite to this diameter. So this is your right angle. Okay, now this angle is 71 degree. This angle is right angle. We need to figure out this angle A by doing sum of all angle of a triangle add up to 180, right? Okay, so let me do this. Sum of all angles of a triangle add up to 180. So here we can say angle A plus angle B is 71 degrees. Angle C is 90 degree. Their sum should be equals to 180 degree, right? So angle A would be equals to, from 180 you have to subtract the sum of 71 and 90. Okay, let me calculate this. From 180 we have to subtract the sum of 71 and 90, bracket. This is 19 degrees. Okay, so angle A is 19 degrees. This angle is 19 degrees. Okay, now we have to use another concept over here. First concept is triangle over the diameter is a right angle triangle, and with the help of this you can easily figure out the three angles of the triangle, right? Now we have given the information that this line is tangent to the circle at point B, right? So if we use an alternate segment theorem over here, alternate segment theorem says that the angle, this angle between the tangent and the chord, you guys can see this line is a tangent and this line is a chord of a circle, because a line other than passing the diameter, any line, this that would be the chord of the circle, right? So the angle between the tangent and the chord of a circle is always equals to angle in its alternate segment, so that angle is also 19. So angle is 19 because from alternate segment theorem, sorry, alternate segment theorem, angles, angle between the tangent and the chord is always equals to the angle in its alternate segment. Okay, so here we can say the angle between the tangent and the chord is always equals to the angle in its alternate segment, right? Okay. Question number 21, the line L is shown on the grid. So you guys can see the line L, right? Find the equation of the line L. Give your answer in the form of y equals to mx plus c. So first figure out c, which is the y-intercept. What is the y-intercept? Okay, here it is hard to figure out the y-intercept. Yeah. Okay, so it is better to take 2 points. All right, so the 1 point we can say is this, and the other point we can take this. Yeah, so this point is -3, -4. This point is -3, -4. And the other point we select is this one, 3 and 14. Substitute these 2 points and solve for m and c, right? So the first point is -3 and -4, and the other point is 3 and 14. Let me double check. Is it 3 and 14? Yes, it's 3 and 14. Now let me plug these 2 points and we can easily solve for m and c. Okay, so the first point is minus 3 and minus 4. X value is minus 3, y value is minus 4. So minus 4 would be equals to m. The x is minus 3 and plus c. So minus 4 is equals to minus 3m plus c. Now plug the second point. Second point is 3 and 14. X is 3 and the y is 14. Wait. Okay, so x is 3 and the y is 14. So y value is 14 is equals to m times x, m times 3 and plus c. So here we can say 14 is equals to 3m plus c. Now we have two equations. This is my first equation and this is my second equation. Now you guys can see when you add up the two equations, negative 3m and positive 3m, you will cancel this out and solve for c easily, right? Okay, so let me do this. So here I can say, yeah, add equation 1 and 2. Add equation 1 and equation 2. So minus 3m plus c is equals to negative 4. This is my first equation. Positive 3m plus c is equals to 14. This is my second equation. When we add them up, this is cancelled out. And here we are left with 2 times of c is equals to, from 14 take away 4 is just 10. Okay, now we can easily solve for the c value. C would be equals to 10 divided by 2. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 5 is 10, so the c value is 5, right? Now the second thing is to solve for m, so you can plug the c value and solve for m. So we can say put c is equals to 5 in equation 1 or 2. This is up to you. In equation 1 we can say, yeah, minus 3m plus c is equals to negative 4. Minus 3m is equals to minus 4, and shift the 5 on the other side, minus 5 minus 3m would be equals to negative of 9. So m would be equals to minus 9 divides minus 3. Minus is cancelled with minus, 3 times 3 is 9. So from here the m is 3. So we got m equals to 3 and the c value is 5. So we have y equals to 3x plus 5. This would be the equation of the line L. So you need to figure out 2 points on the graph and substitute these 2 points one by one into the equation of line, and you will get 2 equations and solve those 2 equations simultaneously. Question number 22, part A. A train to town P leaves the station every 20 minutes. Okay. A train to town Q leaves the same station every 35 minutes. Both train leaves at 9:30. Find the next time both train leaves together. Okay. So such type of questions we need to figure out the LCM, the least common multiple, right? So first thing for LCM, we have for 20, we need to write down the prime factorization of 20. We know that 4 times 5 is 20 and 4 is not a prime number. 4 prime factorization is 2 times 2 is 4 and 4 times 5 is 20. And for the next one, 35, 35 prime factorization is 7 times 5 is 35. 7 and 5 both are the prime numbers. Now we need to figure out the LCM. Okay, so for LCM, the first thing is to figure out the common one. 5 is common. Now list the commons and uncommons. The uncommons are 2 into 7 into the common one is 5, right? Okay, now we need to figure out what is, wait, 2 into 2 into 5 into 7, that is 140. So their LCM is equals to 140. So 140 means after 140 minutes both the train, the first time when both train leaves the station together are 9:30, and the next time is after 140 minutes. Now we need to convert 140 minutes into hours, right? So 140 minutes to hours, what we need to do is we can do 140 divided by 60. So 140 divided by 60, and that is, in this is the minute, the time button, right? So 2 hours and 20 minutes. So this is basically after 2 hours and 20 minutes. Both the train leaves together, right? So the first time, 9:30, you need to add 2 hours and 20 minutes. You will get the next time when the both train leaves together, right? Okay, again use the calculator. In 2 hours and 20 minutes, you need to add 9 hour 30 minutes in terms of this. So 11:50. So the next time is 11:50. At 11:50, both, this is the next time when both trains leaves together. So the next time is 11:50. I hope this makes sense now. For such type of questions, you need to first figure out the LCM of the two numbers. Whatever the LCM is, this much is your minutes, right? So after 140 minutes, they both leaves together. So we have to convert, because this is 9:30, so it is better to convert it into hours. So after 2 hours and 20 minutes, so 2 hours to in 9:30, we add 2 hour 20 minutes to get the next time, right? So the next time is 1 hour and 50 minutes. Now for part B, the distance d kilometer between the town P and town Q is 97 kilometer. Correct to the nearest kilometer. This is in kilometer, this is in kilometer. It means correct to the nearest 1 kilometer, right? And whenever we have correct to the nearest, it means we have to find the upper and the lower bounds. Complete the statement about the value of d, the lower bound and the upper bound. Okay, so here we can say 97, we have to add 1 kilometer divided by 2, and we have to subtract 1 kilometer divided by 2. This unit is in kilometer, this should be in kilometer. So if there are different units, this is in kilometer and this is in meters, you have to make the both units same, and then you have to proceed the question further, right? So kilometer, kilometer, same units. This is in one, sometimes this says a 10 kilometer, nearest to 10 kilometers, 100 kilometers, 2 kilometers, right? So whatever the number over here correct to the nearest kilometer, it means 1 kilometer. So that number is always divided by 2, right? Okay, so this is 97 plus 1 by 2 is 0.5, and here we have 97 take away 0.5. Okay, so in 97, when you add 0.5, 97.5, this is the upper bound, and when you subtract 0.5, which is 96.5, this would be your lower bound, 96.5. All right. Now for question number 23, calculate, give your answer in standard form. Okay. So now let me do the calculation here. So first we can do 4.6 is going to divide with 1.84, and we need to multiply 10 to the power 3 into 10 to the power negative 5. What I did, 4.6 is already here, 1.84, this term is moved to the numerator by a negative power, right? Now use a calculator and simplify this. Okay, what is 4.6 divides 1.84? 2.5. So this is 2.5 multiply 10 to the power 3 minus 5 is negative 2. So this is in the standard form. For the standard form, this number should be lies between 1 and 10. So this is 2.5 multiply 10 to the power negative 2. This is a simplified form in the and this is a simplified standard form. Yes. Question number 24. ABC is a right angle triangle. Calculate BC. BC, this side length we need to calculate. It is a right angle triangle, right? Okay, so this angle we have given, its front side of that angle is the opposite. The other leg is the adjacent. And the sloping one is the hypotenuse. Okay, so we have given the opposite. We need to figure out the hypotenuse, which trigonometric ratio we have to apply, which involve opposite and hypotenuse. For right angle triangle, we can use a trigonometric ratios. We can use a ratio for sine, right? So here we can say sine of theta is equals to opposite over hypotenuse. So what is theta over here? We have 27. So sine 27 degree is equals to opposite is 32, and the hypotenuse is BC, which we need to figure out. So to solve for BC, we can cross multiply. BC is over here and we have 32 divides sine of 27 degrees. Your calculator must be in the degree mode, right? Okay, my calculator is in degree mode, you guys can see. All right. Now here we can say 32 divides sine of 27 degrees. 70.486. So 48 rounded to 5, 70.5. So the length of the side BC is 70.5 centimeters or meters? Centimeters. Yes, centimeters. This is 70.5. All right. So that was the last question of our paper. If you have any queries, please let me know in the comment section, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Take care.